gone onto a new system called fiat, and therefore that gives the government power. And what happened was the U.S. was an enormous power, a trustworthy and good power until the 1930s and 40s. And with that trust, they were able to take the dollar, which is still gold and was much more gold back then, and tell everyone to use it. And once everyone started using it, because they had conquered Europe basically through World War II, and they'd conquered Russia also. Well, they still had a Cold War to fight, but basically they were much stronger. Then once you have everyone using the currency and you get them on that system, then you can start inflating. It's not like you take a vote and you ask your people, do you want to have a gold standard or a fiat system? And they're like, fiat. And then we're like, no, that's the wrong choice. That's not how it happens. Everything starts with gold and silver. And then when the government sees that it has the power to inflate, it will, right? And so it did. So it's not so much that we have to end this system as we have to end the inflationary part of the system and return to gold, which still is on the Fed's balance sheet. It's still there. It's only about 8% of the dollar now. But assuming there's gold in Fort Knox, which I assume there is, and I can't prove that. But this is still a hangover from a gold dollar that's heavily inflated and with much of its value blown up, literally, in the bombs that are falling on my town.
In today's news recap, silver price retests $30, setting the stage for further gains. Silver price hit the $30 per ounce mark for the second time in as many days, having edged up plus 0.5% in early trading on Tuesday. Also, the grayish metal extended its winning streak to the third session in a row, within a longer uptrend that goes back to early August. Silver price has renewed propulsion from the geopolitical tension in the Middle East in the last week. Silver price is also driven by the impending Federal Reserve interest rate cuts starting September, which has driven up safe haven demand for non-yielding precious metals. Silver price has gained 2% in the last 5 sessions and is up 7.9% in the last month. That has built a strong bullish undercurrent that could sustain further gains. A return to the $30 territory is significant, as it creates the psychological foundation to sustain the recent gains. With the sustained gains over the last 20 days, the pressure to take profit is diminished, as opposed to short-lived volatile spikes. Silver price will likely retain upward momentum as long as it stays above the pivot level. Now we'll show you the best clips of the latest interview, but first, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you do not miss out our daily recaps.
I think there's going to be one, March 2020 style pullback, and that's a pullback in dollar terms. It's not a pullback in commodity terms. What you saw in 2020 was, if you compare gold to commodities, gold versus other commodities, the all-time high was in March 2020 when gold hit 1450, and that's when the mining stocks were really tanking, and people's portfolios, including my own that is heavy on mining stocks, really took a crazy beating, and we were having heart palpitations. And that could happen again because there's going to be one more deflationary crash it could be when the reverse repos run out or shortly after that. And we're going to have banking crises all over. And then it's going to take the Fed some amount of time, not much time, to come in and say, okay, we'll print $6-7 trillion and then start doing it. But up to the time when they actually decide to do that or actually start doing it, gold is probably going to fall in dollar terms. And I'm not suggesting that anyone sell it now and then buy it at that dip and then trade it. You could, but to imagine that you'll be able to, and without panicking and time it just right, it's a little hubristic if you're going to try to do that. Maybe you could do it with a small amount of your capital, but I wouldn't try to do that and sell all your gold now and then buy it back at that point. It's much safer just to keep in mind that it's probably going to happen, because before. Hyperinflation is really a struggle between hyperdeflation and the central bank trying to exit that, which forces the liquidation of all the debt and the end of the banking system, which is going to happen in the hyperinflationary path instead. But they put it off in time with the inflationary strategy. The question really is the next printing round going to be the end and the hyperinflation, the end of the dollar? And I think it will be, because just globally we're on the precipice of a nuclear war, it seems, and Ukraine has now invaded Russia. They're invading a nuclear power. Putin could start dropping bombs whenever he wants. I don't know if he will, and I think he knows that if he does, the planet could be destroyed. So maybe he won't. But at some point, who knows what he's going to do? I mean, a nuclear power is being invaded by Ukraine now with American weapons. This doesn't seem safe. So in terms of what you said, the best thing to do is to buy gold and silver. Yes, it's not just about protecting your family and your wealth. That's an effect of it. It's a positive effect. But the point of doing that is to hasten the end and to get it coming as soon as possible. Because once the definition of a dead dollar is a dollar that can no longer be exchanged for gold and silver at all. And you do that by buying gold, right? By raising the exchange rate between the dollar and gold. So we want to see it just keep going up and up and up and up, not because we want to have so many dollars in our portfolios that we can count and imagine how much we can buy with them, because in the end, the dollar isn't going to be worth anything, and you're going to be stuck with your ounces. And the ounces that you have will be able to buy the most during the end game, because the end game means that the amount of liquidity, real liquidity in the system is so low that prices in terms of that liquidity become so high that you can buy enormous amounts with even silver, with even a few coins of silver. So that's what we're looking at. We're really looking. Silver is going to be the ultimate bell ring at the end of this. We're looking for a 15-to-1 ratio, which is the natural monetary ratio. And once that returns, that means that that derivatives of gold and silver no longer work at all, which is why the 15-to-1 ratio returns.
In today's news recap, Samsung's silver battery revolution, faster, longer range, cheaper. A groundbreaking new report from the Silver Academy has unveiled the potential of Samsung's silver solid-state batteries to revolutionize the transportation industry and drive a significant increase in demand for silver. The report estimates that the widespread adoption of this technology could lead to a surge in silver prices and reshape the global silver market. Samsung's silver solid-state battery technology offers several advantages over traditional lithium-ion batteries: reduced weight, simplified material requirements, potential for lower costs as production scales up. The applications of silver solid-state batteries extend beyond passenger vehicles. The adoption of silver solid-state batteries across various transportation sectors, including cars, trucks, buses, vans, ships, barges, ferries, yachts, and airplanes, could create a massive demand for silver. The report estimates that the annual silver demand could increase by up to 25,400 metric tons if a significant portion of these vehicles adopt this technology. Such a significant increase in silver demand could have profound implications for the silver market. Rising prices, silver prices are likely to experience a substantial increase as demand outpaces supply. Increased mining activity, the silver mining industry would need to expand to meet the growing demand, leading to increased investment and job creation. Recycling opportunities, recycling silver from decommissioned batteries could become a crucial industry to support the sustainable use of this resource. The current annual global silver production is approximately 25,000 metric tons. If the estimated increase in demand due to the adoption of silver solid-state batteries materializes, it could represent a 101% increase in silver production. This would put significant strain on the existing mining infrastructure and potentially drive up silver prices. Samsung's silver solid-state battery technology has the potential to transform the transportation industry and drive a significant increase in demand for silver. As the world transitions to electric vehicles and other forms of sustainable transportation, the silver market is poised for a period of growth and opportunity. Now, we'll show you the best clips of the latest interview, but first, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you do not miss out our daily recaps.
That's what it is. And we've seen what tyranny can do. They'll use democratic language. They'll use liberty language. We have to maintain health and whatever other keywords that they'll talk about. But it's really coming down to the single issue. We can talk about libertarian values and sound money, and while it's true that sound money would cure these problems, and inflation eventually leads to the incredible corruption of government to the point where they will take everything from you because they get addicted to their own inflation, and therefore they have to come after you for everything. It's really it's all coming down to our most basic freedoms now. So I think that's what RFK is realizing, that if Team Blue wins this time, our most basic freedoms are going to be taken. So, we could talk about Austrian economics, talk about Rothbard, Lysander Spooner, and, why support Trump when he's clearly not libertarian. He does not understand money. Neither does RFK. He doesn't understand what gold really is. He doesn't understand that the government at this point can't just stop inflation. If the government stopped spending exponentially, you'd have the same banking crisis that you had in 2008. It has to keep spending because if it's just simple transitive property, if the dollar is mostly debt, if you don't expand the debt, then you don't expand the money supply. If you don't expand the money supply, you can't pay back the debt. It's just a loop, and it has to keep going higher and higher and faster and faster. So there is no way that Trump nor RFK can stop the financial calamity from happening. That was already baked into the cake since 1971 or even 1933, if you want to argue that far. There's no way to stop it. But what can be stopped is the direct assault on what remains of our liberty, and that's what could be very important here. I'm not voting. I'm not part of the country anymore. If I happen to get an absentee ballot, I'll fill it out for Trump. I think I'm technically a voter in Florida. I don't know how important that is because I don't think Florida is really a swing state anymore. So I don't think it matters if I vote or not. But look, bottom line, we're going to go into this, into the end of the dollar, and it's going to be very disruptive for the division of labor, and we're going to have to reorganize the economy and all of the inflated crap that is infecting everything in the education system, in the defense system, in the health system. All of that is going to go away. And all of the nonsense, the crazy nonsense that you hear from every sector of the economy it's going to die out because there will be no money to fund BS if the dollar doesn't work. And people are going to have to actually work on real things instead of their fantasies of destroying what remains of reality. So the question really is, do you want to go into the end of the dollar being able to say things without being arrested? Or do you not mind losing whatever remains of your freedom? And I think the answer is clear. So I agree with RFK. I think Trump has to win. It's not like if he doesn't win, it'll be the end, and then the end game's going to come and rescue everyone in that sense anyway. But you want to hold on to what remains of the goodness, and it's not much. And it'll get through. You'll be able to get through the end game.
What do you think of today's episode? Do you agree with Rafi? Will be a major market collapse in 2025 as he predicts? Will gold and silver shock everyone with a massive bull rally? Post in the comments section down below your honest opinion. Share this video with someone who stacks gold and silver, and watch this one right here because you'll love it, and I'll see you on the other side.